and welcome to another episode of Erongo Talk. My name is Leandria Low, and today we are coming to you from the Blue Whale Boutique Hotel here in Walfish Bay. Now, for our interview, we chat to entrepreneur Conni Lyners-Mendes, who's going to talk about her special soaps that she makes, and she also emphasizes why it is so important to wash your hands since we still find ourselves in the COVID-19 pandemic. As usual, I bring you the latest news, weather and tides, so please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. And now we bring you your news here from the Blue Whale Boutique Hotel in Walfish Bay. Now, the 121 houses constructed for the Twalaloka fire victims by government are about 98% complete and will soon be handed over to the beneficiaries. The Minister of Urban and Rural Development, Erastus Conni, visited the construction site in Quisopmont on Tuesday to check up on the progress. Now, a cabinet resolution was passed to build the houses after 153 shacks were destroyed on a fire 26 July 2020. Now, Utoni said that he is satisfied with the progress achieved thus far. Now, he also talks about some of the other developments that's going to come in that township, and he also takes on the private developers who is holding on to land and is not developing it. But head on over to our website where you can check out that and so much more. And then secondly, the Walfish Bay Council tabled its budget on Monday evening, where Management Committee Chairperson Leroy Victor announced capital projects to the tune of 616 million that will be executed over 2 years from 1 July. Now, land development projects received the biggest allocation with 38 million for the development of Farm 37. Now, the number of erven to be yielded at Farm 37 will be determined with the realization of bulk services. Now, 14 million Namibian million dollars will be used for the development of ERF 8635 Quisopmont, which is expected to yield 200 low-income residential erven. 29 million has been budgeted for the development of Extension 8 in Naraval, which is expected to yield about 185 residential erven, and the remaining 41 million will be divided into finalization and establishment of new extensions. But check out our website, that's www.erongo.com.na, to see what else is in the Walfish Bay Municipal Council budget. And then finally, the Health Minister, Dr. Kalumbi Shangula, has urged those in the sport fraternity to accept and respect the government's decision to ban contact sport, adding that it is intended to save lives. Now, Shangula was responding to many Namibians who expressed their displeasure about the decision to halt contact sport for the month of June due to the rise in COVID-19 cases. Now, Shangula maintained that the decision was taken to benefit every Namibian and should not be taken personally towards the sports fraternity. Now, the measures in place are intended to prevent infections and deaths. Everyone is unhappy. Sabine owners want to sell beer in the night. The transport sector wants to drive throughout the night beyond curfew. These are necessary pains we have to go through so that we can return the country to normalcy, Shangula said. Now, yesterday, for the first time since COVID-19 hit the shores of Namibia, we recorded 24 deaths. So it's very important that we stick to the COVID-19 regulations as given by the government. So please head on over to our website. That's at www.erongo.com.na. That's www.erongo.com.na to read all this and so much more.
The Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair 2021 brings you exhibition excellence and will be taking place from 26 to 31 August at the Ongwediva Trade Fair Showgrounds. The theme this year is Gearing for a Smart Economy. This year, exhibitors have their option to showcase their products and services at the Ongwediva Trade Fair Showgrounds or virtually via special trade fair website. Apply for a stand at www.oatf.com.na. Call 065 230 191. Email info@oatf.com.na. The Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair 2021 is proudly sponsored by MTC, FNB, Nedbank, Ongwediva Town Council.
I'm joined here by Conni Lyners-Mendes, the owner of Soapbox. These lovely soaps that you see right here. How are you doing today?
Very good, thanks. Nice to see you, Adolf. I hope you guys are doing good.
I'm doing fantastic, and especially when I see these soaps, you're an entrepreneur. You're also pushing what we can say is washing of hands, which we need in this time of the pandemic. So before we get there, how did you establish this business? How did the whole journey start?
Well, I'm in tourism, and then, of course, when we had our first lockdown, we were all enjoying staying at home, washing our hands, and I turned to my hobby, which is soap making, and then it was just for fun, to start off with. I gave it to my friends, family, and then eventually someone said to me, but why don't you try selling these, because they are really cool and they are quite cute. So I thought, okay, let's give it a go. And then I launched in July 2020. And and since then it's just been moving forward, which is really, really a lovely surprise. And at the same time, it's been a very humbling experience. Yeah.
But going further back, when did you discover that you can actually make soaps? Did someone teach you? How was that process?
It was really just by chance, exploring different hobbies and things to do, and at the same time trying to figure out, okay, so not only for my own sanity, but what can we do to make this to lighten up this thing that we were experiencing during this whole of last year. And I started doing a little bit of research, obviously to understand, the whole process of soap making and the specific products that we use. Of course, researching and making sure that whatever I'm using is approved according to international health standards, according to skin standards, and from there I just let my imagination flow, try to put myself in the position of everyone else around me, and then the ideas just keep flowing.
Awesome. And I see you as a hero. I'm sure I'm sure some other people also see you as that. Just from your opinion, how important is washing your hands, especially in this pandemic that we find ourselves in?
My husband teases me and he says, I think you've got the cleanest hands. Because, also working with a soap, I test every single product myself. But in terms of importance of washing your hands, I can't stress that enough. Like we know, the World Health Organization also made mention of, washing your hands with a bar of soap, with a simple bar of soap, is as effective with hot water, running water, 20 seconds, because it washes the particles from your hands. So I think it is so important, and especially, coming to why, because my designs are quite creative and childlike in a certain sense. So, and it's very novelty. So it's the idea behind it for me was to make it interesting for the children, because we need to start at grassroots.
So it basically makes washing hands fun.
Exactly. Exactly. So for example, some of my soaps have a toy inside, and the more children use it, then the toy comes out of the soap, and it is something that they can keep.
Awesome. Now take me through the whole creative process of making one of these soaps. How long does it take, and what is the process behind the imagination when you say, okay, I want to create this kind of soap for this kind of person?
Okay, so I take inspiration from a lot of natural things around me. I have a friend of mine actually, and her husband is a geologist,
and she asked for me to make something similar to a seismic. I can't remember the rest of the name, but and exactly. So I played around with some colors, and every design that comes when you mix the different colors is going to be unique. It's not very often that we are able to replicate exactly the same soap, exactly the same shade of color. So there will be always something different and unique about it. I use a very simple process. I use a melt and pour base, and it's basically it's a coconut oil clay based soap, and so it's natural. And it's already gone through the saponification process, so I don't use any of the lye, which then means that within a day the soap will be ready. So it's a very simplified process. However, to maintain the safe ratios of using fragrance oils, essential oils, and colorants is where you do need to be careful. It takes calculation and understanding, the different quantities and the products that you're using and how you stay within the safe ratios.
Awesome. I mean, for us here in Namibia, I think we import a lot of our soaps. I mean, we even import toilet paper for that matter, nappies and all that stuff. So, I mean, it must probably be something in the long term that you're thinking, I will probably become a supplier, especially looking at the way you've packaged it is very appealing to the eye.
Yes, I am looking at improving the packaging, but like a lot of the stuff that we use in Namibia, that we have in Namibia, is imported. But I have a few ideas. That is a work in progress where I can decrease the amount of plastic that I use to make the packaging a little bit more eco-friendly, environmentally friendly. But also coming back to the fact that a lot of our soap is imported, but I am not the only one that does natural or homemade soap or handmade soaps. We have really such talented people in Namibia. I know of people that use the marula oil, they use olive oil that is locally produced in Namibia, and they also make soap. So I think it's just a matter of, like Team Namibia says, support Namibian products. Because at the end of the day, the soap that, shall I say, us in Namibia create is exactly as good as the soap that you would buy from other countries or that you would import, because the purpose and the process, in my opinion, from what I understood, is more or less the same, the basic principle.
Okay, as an entrepreneur, what would you call out for maybe, let's say, policymakers or people who are in high seated positions who can provide assistance, whether it's financial or whether it's just in terms of helping you to supply your products in bulk? What would your message be to them so that you can also perhaps make this readily available to retailers and wholesalers and so on?
I would say that platform and visibility is what is needed, because first of all, if you are a budding or an upcoming entrepreneur, for example, in the retail space, that in itself was already a challenge, finding retail space, because if you look at the costs compared to your as a startup, that is already a challenge. So I would love to see engagement around that topic to see how we can provide a platform for locally produced Namibian products where we gain access to potential buyers and customers locally.
Especially at a high volume.
Exactly, because that is eventually where you start then to make your profits. Exactly. On certain products, you need volumes in order to turn over certain profits.
Awesome. Where can we find you on social media?
On social media, I am on Facebook, Instagram. Our handle is @Soapbox Namibia. And it's quite easy to find, and just look for the logo with the bubbles on it.
Awesome. So do like that specific page on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook, right? And you also have a WhatsApp number that people can dial?
Correct, yes. That's 081 394-8304.
Yes, and make your orders and you can supply them.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, what is your last words to upcoming entrepreneurs and young people out there?
Don't give up on your dreams, work hard, and take every opportunity that comes your way.
All right. Thank you very much for spend your time with us.
Thank you, Adolf. Nice to see you.
All right, awesome.
Hi, this is Bron von West, your favorite creativity specialist, and it's time to think like a negotiator. In this episode, I'd like to cover something that I call a run and gun style of tactic. These negotiation settings and tactics are used in informal situations that happen to us all every day, and it's an opportunity for us to become better negotiators. This tactic is called "It's Nice to Be Nice." And what happens is that a lot of training goes into training staff and people in employment on how to deal with difficult people. They've got manuals and manuals and manuals on how to do customer relations and how to handle difficult conversations and all kinds of things. But what they don't get training on is how to handle nice people. And this is an obvious flaw that you can exploit for your own benefit in being a nice, agreeable person, something that they might not see every day. And then you just extend that by asking something nice about them, anything that you can notice that makes them an individual. And this works especially well in companies or organizations where people are forced to wear a uniform, or they work on commission, and it's very long, boring, grueling hours. And so people will tend to find a way to do something that makes them stand out as an individual. The woman who colors their hair purple, or nails, or the guy with fully grown beard neatly trimmed, or the guy with the calluses on his fingers to show that he's playing guitar, or the lady that's wearing two different kinds of socks. Anything that makes them stand out as an individual that you can pick up on and notice and then compliment. What this then does is it opens them up, and they don't really know how to deal with this. It feels nice to be complimented on something, especially if they put in effort into it, especially if they had to think it through. Now, once you've established a rapport with them, you can ask for something like a extended warranty, a better time frame, anything really that is within their power obviously to grant, and that is reasonable for them to do so. Now, I do want to add a little caveat to this, that complimenting people, especially women, on things they have no control over, such as their beauty, their facial features, and the like, this is not going to win you any sort of negotiation power, right? Women get told they are beautiful all the time. Complimenting something that they have no control over really is not going to help you, right? Noticing the calluses on someone's fingers on your hand shows them that you are observant and that you appreciate them as an individual. Not that this is dating advice or anything like that. It's just something to keep in mind when you want to try and negotiate and be nice to someone, right? And this is a trap that you yourself easily fall into. And what to do is to handle a compliment is just be accepting of it. Just say thank you very much, and then just wait to make sure that they don't try and exploit it, right? That's really it. So just be nice to be nice. Notice something that is an individual from someone, and then use that as a conversation starter and get them talking about themselves, and then establishing a relationship with that person will get you a better negotiating power in the end. So I hope this tactic has been useful. I hope you can employ it at some point during the day, during your work hours. And if this has been useful, drop me an email or find me on the socials and let me know how it's go.
And now it's time for your weather and tides for all the major towns here in the Erongo region. Unfortunately, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Erongo Talk. But head on over to our website. That's at www.erongo.com.na. That's www.erongo.com.na for all the latest news that's happening right here in the Erongo region. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And you can get in contact with us at 0111 7040. That's 0111 7040 on both WhatsApp and Telegram. And you can let us know what's happening in your town. Send us some videos, send us some news tips, or that is also your go-to number for advertisements. So you can either advertise via online media or in our print media. So get in contact with us. It's 0111 7040. That's 0111 7040. Now, we found ourselves a nice secluded spot here at the Blue Whale Boutique Hotel, away from all the people. So please remember, we still find ourselves in the COVID-19 pandemic, and it seems almost like the cases are really rising. So please wear your mask, sanitize your hands, and at all times keep your social distance away from people. So remember that we only need to be 50 when you are gathering, and please stick to the curfew. So we will see you again tomorrow. So enjoy your day. Bye.